In this video, I'm going to explain the most efficient split to actually get you from fat to actually lean and muscular, okay? So this is the smartest way to train, get leaner, stronger, and more muscular without training every single day or using 20 plus different exercises. So who will this actually benefit the most? So when I was trying to lose weight, my biggest struggle was how busy I was, right? Because I was working two different jobs while taking my classes. So obviously, I barely had any time. So I wish that someone would have explained all of this to me. But this is essentially for busy professionals who are balancing career demands with fitness goals, working students, so juggling part-time or full-time jobs with classes, or beginners and just skinny fat guys who keep spinning their wheels and they're not seeing any results. First, let's actually go over why most people stay stuck. Number one, too much volume, too little intensity. So, if you are spending hours in the gym without actually challenging your muscles properly, no wonder you are not making progress. You are just going to the gym, you're not actually training with intention. So, you have to make sure you are actually training with adequate intensity. Now, another reason most people stay stuck is too much variety and not enough repetition. So, constantly switching exercises before mastering like any different movement patterns, right? You keep throwing in new things, but you're not actually mastering the movements. And the third reason most people stay stuck is you're confusing your body instead of actually training it. So these random workout selections without actually progressively overloading is holding you back, right? You're doing a different thing every single day, right? You're doing a different thing every single week. You're not sticking to anything consistently. No wonder you're not seeing progress because you're not even progressively overloading because you don't stick to anything. So we want to make sure we realize the mistakes we're making in order to make progress. The best way to make progress is to actually recognize what we're doing wrong, right? You're not lazy, your nervous system just isn't trained yet. Before we get into the actual most optimal split and how to structure it, you have to understand motor unit deficit. So, especially when you're a beginner, muscles are actually made of motor units. So, each unit consists of a nerve connected to the muscle fibers. Beginners cannot recruit all motor units, okay? Your brain hasn't fully learned to actually activate your muscles yet, right? It's just getting used to it. So most people only use around 30 to 40% of their muscles, leaving significant untapped potential for strength and growth. We also need to understand neural adaptation. So I'll kind of put this simple, but initial gains equals skills plus coordination. Your first 3 to 6 months of progress comes primarily from neural improvements. Okay. So, like I mentioned earlier, your brain needs to adapt. So, strength before size, your brain learns to recruit more muscle fibers before actual hypertrophy. So, you are going to see more strength gains before you see the muscle gains. Another key factor is focus drives adaptation. So, fewer movements, faster neural mastery, and better overall gains. So now I'm going to explain the actual split and why it is the most optimal on paper, especially for you who is working all the time, in school all the time, and you're just constantly busy. So why full body every other day is the most optimal here. First is high frequency, trains each muscle group multiple times per week without overtraining. Schedule flexibility, so works with any life situation or work schedule. Easily going to fit into your busy schedule. Faster mastery, so more practices with key lifts accelerates neural adaptation, like mentioned earlier. Better recovery, full day of rest between sessions prevents systemic fatigue, making it a lot easier to go harder on those sessions. It would go train, rest, and you would get results with just 3 days a week. Now, real life scenarios, why this actually works, right? So for the time crunch, it fits perfectly into a busy professional schedule while still driving you the results you want to see. If you're overwhelmed, it cuts through the information overload with simple and proven approaches. And for past failures, it's actually going to build the confidence through consistent wins and actual visible progress in strength and actual hypertrophy. Here's actually the meat and bones of it. So, core exercise selection, you're going to pick one exercise per muscle group. So, one for the quads, example, leg extension or hack squat. One for the hamstrings, leg curl, RDL, glutes, something like a hip thrust, calves, something like a straight leg calf raise. And you're going to choose one exercise for the upper body. So chest, something like a chest press, shoulders, something like a shoulder press, lats, something like a wide grip lat pull down, upper back, chest supported row, biceps, preacher or cable curl, triceps, something like a push down. So you are going to choose one exercise per muscle group for each session. So once you've chosen your actual movements, what you're going to do is one working set per exercise, maximum effort on a single focused set. 2, 6 to 10 reps, so closer to 8 to 10 for skill, but optimal range for both neural adaptation and actual hypertrophy. Take it to failure or at least one RR, okay? So push until you cannot complete another rep with good form. And 4, you're going to start with priority muscle groups. So day 1, chest first, day 2, back first, day 3, legs first, or whatever muscle group you want the most development on. A weekly layout after you choose what muscle groups to do first and what movements you want to do on that day. You're going to have your full body A on Monday. Tuesday off, you'll have your rest day. Just do something like walk or on the treadmill. Wednesday, full body B. Thursday off. Friday, full body C. 6, rest. Enjoy your life, right? How hard does that seem, right? It is not that difficult to stick to this. You are only training 3 to 4 times a week. If you cannot stick to this, if you cannot set time aside for this, right? Even 30 even 30 minutes to an hour a day, or even 30 minutes to an hour 3 times a week, then you genuinely do not want to bad enough. You have to realize you can make the time, right? There's always these little slivers of time if you want it bad enough. Now, the actual science on why this works the best and why it's the most optimal on paper is frequency over volume, right? So for beginners, especially, training frequency drives the adaptation more than total volume. Neural efficiency, so repeated exposure to the same movements accelerates motor learning. Fatigue management, so low per session volume keeps recovery high and consistent. And skill acquisition, so every session reinforces proper movement patterns and muscle control. So here are the mistakes you have to avoid though when structuring your split. 1, too many exercises. Adding unnecessary movements dilutes your focus and neural adaptation. So stick to just one per muscle group for maximum results, especially when you're a beginner. Low effort sets. Stopping before true muscular failure leaves gains on the table. Each set should be challenging enough that you couldn't do one more rep at all, especially if you are a beginner. Most times I would recommend 1 to 2 RIR, but if you're a beginner, it's hard for you to gauge that, so I would train closer to failure. Actual ego lifting with bad form, so using too much weight with poor technique, prevents proper muscle activation. So what you want to do is focus on actually feeling the target muscle work throughout the full range of motion. Okay? And the fourth thing is you switch programs too fast. Program hopping before neural adaptation occurs actually disrupts your progress, right? Commit to at least 8 to 12 weeks of this before actually evaluating results. So master the basics, repeat with intention. So here's what you can actually expect week to week, right? These are the results you're going to see. So weeks 1 to 2, improved mind-muscle connection and coordination during the exercises. 3 to 6, noticeable strength increases in all major lifts. Months 2 to 3, first visual physique changes and improved muscle definition. And after that, you'll get solid foundation for actual advanced training techniques and different programs. The final message of this is you don't need a crazy plan. What you need is fewer movements. You need to master the fundamentals instead of chasing so many different varieties. More intensity, so push each set to your actual limits. Less stress, so a sustainable approach that actually fits your lifestyle. That's why I have it set this way, because I know how many of you guys are busy with work. I know how many of you work as hard as you can, and I've been there too, right? I was working 2 jobs, like I said, and most people don't get that. They'll just throw a 6-day split at you saying, stick to this. If you don't do it, you don't want it bad enough. But it doesn't even fit your schedule. So that is why I actually made this video, to help you the most. More results, so consistent progress you can see and feel. But here are some examples of my clients, right? Like Kai, he was working full time. Pedro, he's working full time and taking classes. Sebastian's working full time and taking classes too, right? They don't have time for all this, right? They needed a split that worked best for them. Not all of them did full body every other day, right? Because it didn't work best for them. So I found a split that worked well for them, implemented diet, training, accountability checks, and into our actual community to get them the best results possible. And Kai lost 81 pounds, Pedro minus 35 pounds, and Sebas minus 6 pounds. Make sure that you are actually keeping yourself accountable. And if you haven't kept yourself accountable for the last 10 years, then when are you going to, right? Because you obviously can't. So who is going to hold you accountable? Who is going to hold you to that higher standard? If you want a transformation like my clients and you want something that is fully catered to you and your schedule, fill out the form in the description of this video and I'll see if you're a good fit to work with one-on-one. Besides that, I've linked a full example training split that you can actually use to your benefit. That's only 3 days, right? Just like we mentioned, full body every other day, 3 to 4 days a week. So give that a try and I know it's going to help you if you are consistent. But that's pretty much it. Drop a sub for more and leave a comment what video would help you get the results you want to see the most. Until then, I'll see you in the next video. Have a good day.